Now, did you have a lovely time the day you went to Bangor? How are we moving on to this? Bangor! Well, could have been a whole lot nicer if a plan to redevelop the seafront had gone to plan. 10 years after Northdown Council started spending hundreds of thousands of pounds on property, the planned Queen's Parade development still hasn't got off the ground. Chris is down there now.
Well, Stephen, you look like a bucket and spade man to me, and of course that's what Bangor's known as, a bucket and spade town. Of course, what they don't want is people to build sandcastles. What they do want is them to build this huge development they talked about. But instead, here in Bangor, what are they left with? This, a big black hole. Ah, remember the glory days. In its heyday, Bangor was the summer seaside resort. Very few people come to Bangor for their holidays anymore. Instead, they tend to jet off to the sun to enjoy an ice cream there. However, Northdown Borough Council was aware that that was happening. So about 10 or 15 years ago, they came up with a plan. They take a lot of old property at Queen's Parade, knock it all down and build instead a brand new entertainment and leisure complex. Except, while the demolition happened, the development didn't. The council's big ideas proved tough to put into practice, and the seafront has been looking empty and desolate for years. A government minister recently remarked it's been lying semi-derelict for a decade. He said that when his department barred the latest grand plans on the grounds, that there's not enough parking for the size of the development and the roads couldn't cope with the traffic expected. The developers have planning permission for a smaller scale scheme, but they're pushing for the problems to be sorted so their big development can get the green light. In the meantime, the Queen's Parade revival is still in limbo, 10 years after the council started buying property. And with delay after delay, local businessmen are getting very frustrated.
We've waited now the guts of 10 years to see some regeneration of Queen's Parade, and really, what have we to show for it after 10 years? Virtually nothing. On bomb site.
I own a wee shop here and people come in here and the council always comes up about this, that and the other thing, and 90% of them is not happy with what's happening here in Bangor.
And is a lot of that about Queen's Parade?
Especially Queen's Parade.
The council bill has been mounting up. It paid almost £2.7 million for the properties, spent close to 800,000 relocating businesses at the ratepayers' expense, and when you include consultancy, legal and other fees, it comes to a grand total of around 3.7 million. To be fair, the council has now sold the site to a developer, but it had to borrow £3 million to buy this land in the first place, and interest payments have pushed the council's bill up even further. We don't know how much, but one councillor told me he reckoned the final cost could be as much as £5 million. The developers say they paid in excess of £4 million, although it's believed not all of that is cash, and so far only £1 million has been paid. So where does this leave Bangor's vision for the future? Well, the council, it seems to have paid its money. The only problem is the completion of the development. There's still no end in sight for that. Well, of course, we'd like to speak to some councillors about that. We'd like to speak to the council. We did invite the chief executive of the council down here tonight. We did invite several councillors. They all turned down our request. They were either too busy or didn't want to appear on this programme tonight. Let's speak to Tommy McDowell, who was the man who asked for the Freedom of Information Act, said you need these information, you want to know how much money was spent. Are you happy with the results that you got?
No, but first, Chris, can I just say that I'm disappointed that Trevor Pulley himself didn't turn up here to answer questions. Our 24 elected representatives should have been here as well. I actually call for his resignation now, and I call for the councillors' resignation. It's a public disgrace that they can't be here.
Well, of course, if there are any councillors out there, we would, of course, invite them onto the programme tonight. You can phone now, 08459 555 678. Very keen to have you on the programme. What would you say to the councillors if they were here tonight?
I have a list of questions I would like to ask publicly. I would also like to know how much interest we've paid on the purchasing the land.
Because this is a £3 million loan and this is your big problem. You think a lot of interest has been paid?
A lot of interest, I know it has been paid, but Mr. Pulley has claimed that he doesn't hold bank statements or financial records of the interest. I find that a bit strange.
Well, Chris Carter, you've also been concerned about this whole issue. Is it the length of time that's causing the problem for you?
Absolutely. People in this town were expecting bricks and mortar behind me here at this stage, and it's not happening, and it will not be happening for the foreseeable future.
But of course there are problems here in terms of the Department of Social Development, Department of Regional Development. They are concerned and say that this can't go ahead in the current situation. That's not the council's fault, surely.
Yes, it is the council's fault, for the simple reason, away last year, people were told via our local paper that everything was done and dusted. Now this was for the first plan, but nobody told anybody about a second plan. You know, the council forgot to tell people that there are actually two plans. One that was passed, which could have been started way back in April of this year.
Well, let's talk actually to one of the developers. He's on the line now, he joins us now. Adam Armstrong is on the line. Adam, do you want to start off just by telling us what you actually have got planned for the black hole behind us?
Yes, when we first originally bought, as you would call it, the black hole behind you, there was a smaller development brief made out by the council. We got full planning permission for the smaller development about 6 months ago. But about 18 months ago, we decided that there would be a grander plan for Bangor, and the smaller plan would only be a short-term fix and wouldn't help the overall regeneration of Bangor. The larger plan...
Well, Adam, the big question here being asked up from the council is just how much money you spent to buy this plot of land. How much did you buy it for?
The plot of land at the moment has cost us in excess of £11 million.
No, but the actual thing that you bought from the council, how much did that cost you?
The council land cost us in excess of £4 million, plus the council have a profit share after the end development of the larger development. When the larger
But speaking to council sources, they tell us that the £3 million is actually what was paid in terms of cash.
Cash is the irrelevant situation in this. It's what the end product will be for the council. The end product for the council will, I suggest, be in excess of about £6 million, plus all the benefits, the add-on benefits of rates that they will get from a 300 to 400,000 square
Well, we're running out of
foot
time here,
development.
Adam. I have to interrupt you. I'm sorry. Tommy, just very quickly, are you happy with that response?
No, well, according to the Freedom of Information Act, the answer I've got from the council is he has paid £1 million, not 4
Well,
or 6.
that's £1 million so far. We
Yeah,
believe there are a number of different instalments, but as you can tell, it's a complicated situation, and the real problem is, of course, this land still hasn't been built, Stephen.
Buckler, are you telling me that we invited every member, that we invited the council onto this programme and not one of them would come onto this show? Is that what you're telling me?
Well, we invited several councillors. We particularly invited people from the Queen's Parade Working Group. None of them seemed to be available tonight. Some did say they may turn up tonight. However, they didn't actually turn up, as it turned out.
Really starts to wind me up, you know, when as the media we're looking for answers, we're looking on answers, you know, it's not secrets we're looking for for answers on behalf of the ratepayer. What is this programme all about? And I'll tell you what, tomorrow morning on the radio, I'm on the radio tomorrow morning 9 o'clock, I want to see who from Bangor Council is going to have the guts, and I say the guts, to come on the radio and start answering some of these questions. We'll give you the number, look it up in the book if you don't have it, call BBC reception, ask a mate, it won't be too difficult to get in touch with me. Shall we move on? Getting my blood pressure up again. In a recent